Well, here we are, Adults from the Office, Redneck's Pride Outdoors. Uh, New Jersey just posted up, I think a week ago, the three or four Trapper Ed classes we're going to have this fall. 2 in September and 1 in November, and I think there will be 1 in October also. Not for certain on that one, but the folks are just signing up left and right. You have to sign up for the course to come to it. We haven't taken any walk-ins in many years, a few years anyway, since COVID. And there seems to be a big desire, if you will, by folks to take the New Jersey Trapper Education Trapping and Snaring course. Now, I've been an instructor since 1987, I believe, the first year I became an instructor. And I will admit, in the last year or so, you're seeing me slow down a little bit. Okay? But I'm intrigued still, and am happy to see all the folks that's coming out and signing up for the trapping courses. I think last year we put over 250 people through the various trapping courses we had. We had 2 in the spring and 4 in the fall. And this year already we had 1 in the winter, I believe it was. We had 1 in the spring, and then we've got these coming up here in the fall. We might have had 2. We might have had 2 in the spring. So that would be 1, 2, 3. That's 7 courses, and they're filled to the max. We put 250 folks through. We have a cutoff at 50, and we will extend it on certain classes to 60. And again, I'm going back to. I'm doing all this to say this. In the last 5 years, the folks that we've seen come out and get their trapping licenses, the majority have no trapper background whatsoever. They have no idea what they're getting into, especially when it comes to snares. And New Jersey is a snare state. Our trapping consists of box traps, cage traps, dog proofs, and underwater conibears. Everything else is cable restraints, snaring. So when we get these new folks coming out, they have no idea what they're getting involved in, most of them. It's very seldom do we see a father, an uncle, or grandfather bring out a 12-year-old, because that's how old you got to be to get your license. Now, we all know, especially in my generation, we trapped without licenses, because it was either your hunting license was involved in it, or as a 10, 11, 12-year-old kid, 9, 10. Heck, my son at 8 years old was strapping with me. All right, both my sons. So that's no big secret. But it's very seldom do we actually see anymore, percentage-wise now, I'm talking about, where a father, grandfather, an uncle, somebody, friend, bringing out a youngster to trap. and that youngster having good background behind him to trap. Most of the folks coming out are 35 years old and up, with the majority of that age group 55 and up, because the boys are retiring and they trapped when they was younger and are coming back out to get their snaring certificate. But the majority of the folks have no idea that there is about trapping historically, let alone modern factual. They heard about trapping. They see the trapping on Facebook. Facebook has been, by the way, Facebook has been one of the biggest pro-trapping things out there. More people are signing up for trapping courses in New Jersey because of Facebook. And I've been told, because of the trappers posting stories and showing pictures and doing what they're doing with good content, good pictures, it's making them want to become a trapper for whatever reason in their mind. A lot of trappers, a lot of folks coming to the courses would be preppers or survivalists. And a lot of folks nowadays are coming to protect their livestock, mainly chickens, ducks, and what have you. They're coming out to learn how to do it. And that's cool. 250 plus people a year getting their trapping licenses. And now that 250 people a year, we will, long-term 2 to 3 years from now, that class will have approximately 25% still trapping. But the great thing about that is this: those who are no longer trapping, they don't buy their trapping after the first, second, or third year. It's not because they're against trapping. It's because they see that a real trapper, the trapper that becomes good in order to become good, it's not a do when you want to. You have to immerse yourself in it, and it becomes a second job. And it becomes a lifestyle, and it becomes a part of your life, to where that quarter of the course starts to understand what us old goats have been talking about. The romance of trapping, if you will. And I'll be honest with you, we're seeing some really good snaremen coming out of the state of New Jersey. The main reason is we don't have anything else to fall back on. Dog proofs and cages for raccoons, essentially, but mainly everything else, and conibears for beaver and muskrats, but for everything else, you're using gable restraints. And you've got to learn how to use them in the most densely populated state in the nation per square mile, which means there's more dogs and cats in this state than there are anything else. And we're producing some really, really good snaremen coming out of the state of New Jersey that could go anywhere in the nation and snare. And this video is not to the trapper. This video I'm going to post is for the non-trapper. The outdoorsman that is the non-trapper, but you really have no concept of what trapping is other than what you've heard or what you think. And I talk to outdoorsmen after outdoorsmen that do not realize that it's the trapper that is that wall that's keeping depredation and predation happening more. It's the trapper that is the wall that's keeping the rabies in the state of New Jersey at bay. It's the trapper that's that wall that's making sure that there's public and pet safety by stopping human-wildlife conflicts. You see, that trapper is going out and he's catching the foxes and the raccoons, and he's catching the coyotes and the beaver, and he's catching there's a lot of good female trappers, so I don't want to, but those trappers are going out and they're taking a very substantial amount of problem animals out of the picture before they become a problem. And they will. That's why I'm in the wildlife control business for 46 plus years. I'm a wildlife control specialist, professional trapper. That's what I've done for 46 years. That's why I'm in it. My love for trapping put me into that business in 1979. Doesn't mean I'm a good trapper. It just means I love doing what I'm doing. That's what it means. And I see that the New Jersey fur trapper and snareman solves a lot of problems before they ever start. You know, I hate it when a biologist says to me, you got to watch taking coyotes out, because because the coyote that you take may be the good coyote and the bad coyote will move in. And I laugh and I say, okay, but how long does it take that good coyote to learn that it's easier to be a bad coyote? Because they will. And when I hear a person say to me, oh, a good coyote will always stay as a good coyote, no. That tells me they do not understand coyote behaviors and habits. It tells me they do not understand that coyote. Because that coyote, number one, is an aggressive, dominant animal. And as long as you keep the mice and the rats and the turkeys and the rabbits and the other things at a good population level for them to easily catch and eat, no, they do not become a bad coyote. Quote unquote. Then why is the coyote out west, who has an abundance of small game to take, why does every rancher want to kill every one of them? They know they can't, but they want to. And I'll say to that same biologist when they say, but they can't kill every coyote, I say, yeah, I know, they can't, and we know you can't, but can you imagine what the problems would be if we wasn't trying to kill every one of them? You see, that goes against the grain of a hunter. Because a hunter's mindset, is only take a few. Only take a few. So when they see the trapper can take a lot, that our bag limits are non-existent more or less for most animals except for beavers and what have you, it strikes a nerve with the average outdoorsman. Because your whole outdoor experience is based on bag limits, bag limits, bag limits. So you think the trapper is exploiting the predator. You think the trapper is exploiting the human conflict causing animals. And the truth of the matter is, you're not understanding that the population levels of these animals far exceed the population levels of your game animal. And that trapping, we can't take them all. But we've got to try to reduce that population. It's been said, and you can find this, for most species of animals that we can harvest, we can take. you need to take 40 to 60% of that population in that spot in order to maintain a healthy population. Coyote research has said that you need to take out 75% of the coyotes in that area, in that spot, annually. Take 75% of the coyotes annually to maintain or to reduce the population level. If you're taking 40%, if you're taking 20%, that population is growing leaps and bounds every year with the coyote. Same thing with the fox. Foxes will reproduce so fast, it's unbelievable. So when we're talking about the trapper going out and being able to trap what we want, when we want, and how we want, meaning within regulations. And by the way, I want to say this. Our trapping regulations is the most regulated outdoor activity out there. We have more regulations, do's and don'ts, than any other outdoor activity out there. And we still get the job done. Now, a lot of you are pissing a fit right now. You don't like me because I'm a trapper. You hate my guts, and that's fine. I'm good with that. Till you do something to me, I'm going to still have no problem with you. But many of you are not going to like me because I'm a trapper, because I'm speaking the truth here. You know, the pheasant hunters keep coming to me every stinking year, and they say to me, Jonesy, you got to do something on these wildlife management areas where the pheasants are stocked, because we're seeing 50% or higher predation on the pheasants. Now, a lot of that's birds of prey, and a lot of that is other factors. But what's actually happening is mainly the fox, some coyote, a lot of raccoon, some mink, some weasel are going in, and they're taking out the stocked pheasants that the New Jersey pheasant hunter is hunting. And the state can't keep putting money out to have that type of loss. But I can't go in and trap because, here's the fact, I need the first 2 weeks of January to get into those fields and trap. Why? The dinner bell is still ringing. You see the stocking season ends December, the end of December. And that fox and that coyote and that raccoon knows that those fields, the dinner bell is ringing 3 times a week. And I need to get into those fields the first 2 weeks of January. Because the fox and the coyotes and the raccoons are still coming to that field. But the problem happens here. The pheasant hunter wants to keep going those 2 weeks because he or she may find a bird here or a bird there, and they want to run their dogs in the exact places that they're screaming at me, Jonesy, you got to do something about this. And I say, okay, stay out of the fields for 2 weeks in January. Keep your dogs out of the woods. Let me go in and let me do my job. Can't do that. Got to run my dog. Then I can't go in. In September, Division of Fish and Wildlife is putting on a Trapping Matters workshop. If I wish and invite every leader of a New Jersey outdoor organization to contact and get on the list to come to that 1 day class. your eyes will be opened if you don't already know about trapping and what it is and what it does and how it does. But the trapper, the new trapper that's reading this, or the person who's thinking about trapping, why would you want to get into trapping? Why would you want to become a trapper and a snareman? You can only answer that question, other than the things I've already mentioned, that we are a true wildlife management tool. The reason we can trap, the reason we can do what we're doing, is because New Jersey Fish and Wildlife and every other state, most other states in this nation, understand that it's the trapper that is the wall. But why do you, as an outdoorsman, think about, why would you want to become a trapper? Well, number one, in order for you to be a good trapper, you've got to put the time into it. You've got to get your knees dirty. You've got to get your hands dirty. You've got to get on the ground and do it. And when you're trapping and you got sets out, you're there every day. Every day. And what does that do to you as an outdoorsman? When you're in the same area of 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, whatever it is you want to trap, I don't give a hoot. Okay? You know, as a professional specialist, I like to get in 3 to 5 days, 2 weeks at the most. If I'm playing, I may go a month. Okay? But what does being in that same area, the same spot every day, what does that do to you? It makes you see things. You're in that same spot. You see what was there yesterday. You see what was there 3 days ago. You see what's there today. And you see the changes. You see the things that moved. You see the animals that came that's no longer there, and the other animals that's coming in. And you just start to see a pattern. You start to see things. And as a good trapper, to become a good trapper, what is the number one thing you have to do? You have to see things. And when you see things, what's that make you do in all the other outdoor activities? It makes you 5 steps ahead. It puts you from here to there. You become you become a better outdoorsman all around when you become a good trapper. I didn't say you become an expert. I didn't say you're going to become the best deer hunter and kill nothing but 150 class deer. Because frankly, I ain't got time to wait for 150 class deer. I'm going to take the first legal deer I can if I feel like it. But I can find deer. And if you are a 140, 150 class deer hunter, that is good, and you become a good trapper, I guarantee you will become a better deer hunter. If you're a good rabbit hunter, if you're a good pheasant hunter, if you're a good duck hunter, it will make you a better hunter. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Fishing, I suck at fishing anymore. But anyway, that's why I got to go out with Dominic full draw bow fishing. I've got to go out with him. Yeah, he needs to show me what I do wrong. But anyway, getting back on this track. So you by becoming a trapper and becoming a good trapper, you're in the same area. You see things. You see things. The next thing to become a good trapper, you've got to learn all you can about the animal you're after. Because how you catch the animal you're after is you understand everything about the animal. Habits, behaviors, location, everything. And by understanding everything about the quarry you're after, the target you're after, you see that you don't catch other things that you don't want to catch. Why? Because you see the spot. And You're a fox trapper. You want to catch fox, but you don't want to catch the raccoons. You see where the fox and the raccoons are running the same trails, but you also see where the raccoon goes off one direction and the fox goes off the other direction. Your woodsmanship to become a good trapper has got to be up here. You've got to read sign. You've got to see tracks. You've got to understand everything about woodsmanship that you possibly can. To become a good trapper. And most important, you've got to have the love that you can't explain for trapping. People ask me all the time, Josie, why do you trap? It's what I am. And I can't explain it any differently. You know, I'm a wildlife control specialist since 1979. I think that's 46 years that I've been making my living catching animals and doing wildlife control. I've been a fur trapper for 56 years. I started at around 10, and I'm 66. I can remember my very first muskrat at the age of 10. I can remember my first gray fox. I can remember my first red fox. I can remember my very first raccoon. I can remember my very first coyote. I can remember my very first beaver. I can remember my very first mink. There's been a lot in between the first and now, and I don't remember them too well, but I can remember every first one like it was yesterday. So you new trappers thinking about trapping, we got courses coming up. Go on New Jersey Division website, look for the trapping courses and sign up before they're filled up. Trapping is a needed wildlife management activity, and I'm probably going to catch heck for this video. But hey, we'll take the lumps with whatever. I'll talk to you later. Redneck's Pride Outdoors. See you later.